You ever walk into the post office and feel like you just stepped into some kind of bizarro world where your right to self-defense suddenly vanishes? Because that's been the law until now. You see, a federal judge in Texas just dropped a bombshell ruling. The ban on carrying firearms in post offices and on postal property, he ruled them unconstitutional. And honestly, it's about damn time. Here's how the Washington Times reported it. A federal judge in Texas has ruled that it is unconstitutional for the government to ban guns at post offices, handing a win to Second Amendment advocates. And the case itself was brought by the Firearms Policy Coalition and the Second Amendment Foundation. These were Texas gun owners who just wanted to carry when they went to the post office, but didn't because they knew the government would treat them like criminals for it. Now, here's the actual opinion. Straight from the ruling in Firearms Policy Coalition, Inc. versus Bondi. The judge wrote, the court determines that both 18 U.S.C. 930A and 39 CFR 232.11 are inconsistent with the principles that underpin this nation's regulatory tradition. Thus, they are unconstitutional as applied to carrying firearms inside an ordinary post office or on post office property. And this part right here is devastating to the government's argument. That the founders were actually aware of threats to post offices and postal employees, yet chose to criminalize the offending behavior rather than banning firearms outright is telling. Translation, they had robbery attacks and violence way back in the founding era, and they still didn't ban guns in post offices. They punished criminals instead of disarming citizens. Imagine that. And that's why I always thought this was dumb as hell. I remember the last time I had to go into the post office. I walked up, saw the sign and thought, oh, I'm not allowed to carry in here, am I? And it just felt so arbitrary. Like, why? If we're talking about a courthouse, fine. You've got armed guards, metal detectors, layers of security, but a post office? The only thing you've got is Susie, Jacob, and Christina handing out stamps and showing people how to fill out envelopes. Unless there's something I don't know, I'm pretty sure Susie isn't strapping an FN 509 on her hip while she's back there licking stamps. So basically, I'm walking into a building with zero actual protection, but because it's stamped federal, I'm suddenly defenseless. Criminals don't give a damn about federal buildings. And here's the kicker. The same building literally has a nickname that became shorthand for mass shootings. You want me to go in unarmed into a building where going postal became a phrase in American culture and I'm supposed to feel good about that? This is insane. Here we are in 2025, and I'm glad this ruling finally acknowledges how ridiculous that is. Because here's the reality. If you don't carry, you probably walk around with a false sense of safety. But for those of us who do carry, we know the truth. You're vulnerable, especially in transitional spaces like a post office parking lot. And here's the dilemma we've all faced. Do I obey the rule and leave my gun behind knowing I'm walking into an undefended building, or do I say screw it? Conceal it and take the risk of breaking the law just so that I don't become a soft target. That's the stupid mental gymnastics this law forced on millions of people. And the only people it actually stopped, the ones who try to follow the law. And here's the thing. The government's whole argument is basically, don't worry, we've got this under control. Just disarm and trust us. Yeah, right. That's the exact reason the founders wrote the Second Amendment, because the truth is, I am the militia. You are the militia. That's the whole point. So I put it on shirts, I put it on hats, I put I am the militia design in bold. It's unapologetic, and it says what needs to be said without you having to open your mouth. If you want to support the channel and rep the message, hit the link in the description section and grab your I am the militia merch today. Because if we don't own that truth, someone else is going to try to take it from us. And here's something the judge points out that I guarantee most people don't realize. These bans are modern. As the court explains, the first prohibition on firearm possession in government buildings was not codified until 1964, and the first regulations specifically banning arms in post offices were codified in 1972. That means the government waited almost 200 years after the founding before it decided guns in post offices were suddenly too dangerous. So don't let anyone tell you this is how it's always been. It hasn't. And the irony, back in the day, the Postal Service armed its own people. By the 1920s, so many bandits were targeting mail trains that the Postmaster General armed railway mail clerks with government-issued pistols. So instead of banning guns, the government literally handed them out to protect the mail. Now, fast forward to today, and the only people disarmed are the law-abiding citizens waiting in line to buy stamps. Crazy thing is, the government tried to argue that post offices are sensitive places, like courthouses or polling places. But the judge wasn't buying it. And the judge wrote, reasoning by analogy, it is hard to see how post offices, while important, rise to the same level of importance or provide the same weight government functions as legislative assemblies, polling places, and courthouses. Exactly. Me sending a letter to my meemaw doesn't equal deciding the outcome of an election or passing laws in Congress. Stop stretching the analogy. And finally, the government tried this Hail Mary. Well, we own the property, so we can do what we want. The court shut that down too. The Postal Service is a state actor rather than a private business, so its actions must comply with the Constitution. Bingo. Just because the government owns the land doesn't mean the Bill of Rights stops at the door. So here's where we are. For ordinary post offices, the judge struck down the gun ban. Now, this will almost certainly get appealed, but make no mistake, this ruling exposes just how flimsy the government's justification has always been. For decades, they've depended on the compliance of law-abiding people. Meanwhile, criminals never cared. And the historical record, it's not on their side. So the next time someone tells you it's common sense to ban guns in post offices, point them to this video, point them to this ruling, point them to history, and remind them rights don't disappear just because you're buying stamps. And also don't forget, I'm the militia. You're the militia. We are the militia. Hit the link in the description section and check it out. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.